do you ask yourself, should I have taken profits recently? So today, MacroMarkets, 15 May 2025, we have a slight uptick of profits. Yesterday was slightly lower, but it's roughly the same. Anyway, if you have been following my posts lately, you might have known that I've gotten this bull run wrongly and lost big time in this whipsaw. And yesterday, I've chosen this title as well. I've taken profits. I purposefully chose this week title yesterday, but deep down, I know that life goes on, and it's not about what I should or what I have done, but what can we do now and next to make the best of every situation. Today, I'd like to share with you some of my reflection and also some of my new learnings as well. Lesson, right? Look at the big picture and not just the daily micro doings. Over here, I just to try this weird Singapore movie. It comes from 10 all the way to 2000. And if you look at all these moving averages, from a bigger picture perspective, we have it's just more fry. It's just more fry. It's even smaller fry than what we have experienced during 2022. This overview does give us a better outlook about where are we right now, and that's very important. Next, steady cash flow in peacetime and multi-bagger in wartime. I have been testing bullish cash compounder so that I'm able to accelerate my cash flow going forward in my weekly structure. But then what I've realized is that everything is a double-edged pros and cons. So the con side, for the pro side, yes, I'm able to make much more on a weekly basis, but in a certain event that during market downturn, that I've lost a lot of my premiums they have collected along the way. And if we will look at it objectively, it is not just about losing the premiums, but because premiums comes with time. In a certain sense, I'm also losing time because premiums comes from time. Okay, so what I do next, right, is to keep most of the premiums in cash most of the time, and I will be implementing what I call the time in and timing market strategy within the accelerator framework as well. Here, if you look at all the yellow zone and all the green zone, you probably can see some good opportunities around there. In a certain sense, this is a new hack that I just found this morning. I was just around and I was thinking this might be a pretty good hack as well. The lesson is that don't let a loss go to waste. Always consider what was done, what wasn't done. So how might we improve? Then we keep what works, keep what ditch what doesn't. As long as we have a sword, a shield, a breath, we're still warrior. In Chinese, it's like 留着青山在，马怕没柴烧 or something. As long as you have capital, you can still do something about it. And break even capital after a crash with lesson learned is a great win. Please go to waste as well. And don't just let improvement, right? Go with breakthrough. So what I have done, right, that in my current situation, with what I have on my hand, the leftover cash, the leftover hedging position, everything. And what if everything gets caught away and what is the worst case scenario? So I started to look out for different scenarios over here. I try to have a certain sequence of action that I might be doing. Some projected earnings. I started to also think through what else I'll do in this particular situation, and I started to have a certain way to create a certain reward to risk ratio as on which might be better. And eventually, what I found very hard is to flip the script, challenge the assumption. The first, for example, I just a very quick one. The first example is I capitulate, I give up, and just everything gets called away. I just the usual method and whatsoever. And then suddenly this light bulb moment came about. I asked myself, since I'm going to die, how am I going to die gloriously? How can I die purposefully? How can I die powerfully? Many ideas start to come forth. I started to go with started to do first level of gen, and then eventually I was thinking, okay, what if I die weekly? I just allow myself to die naturally. But then after I die naturally, what other things can I do to start power? Started to flip the script. Eventful is a pretty insightful session with myself, and I think I might have a certain idea about where am I going to. And the result for this is that I am able to go back up to above my break-even in profit zone almost immediately if I choose to, and I can still able to be flexible enough to create cash flow in either up market. I think this is a major win as well. And lesson 5, right, as an option seller, beyond just being paid for being wrong as usual, which is already embedded in the evergreen wheel strategy. But one major of doing selling, right, of this recovery trade that I just reviewed, while it's still very conceptual because I can't go into details with this short video, but in a certain sense, because we are the sellers, there's always additional ways for us to do some recovery trade, and the odds are still with us because there's always time in front of us. We may not be right in terms of the direction, but we know that very likely we are going to be alive in the next 1 to 2 years. But let's say if we are not alive, nothing else matters anyway. In the near future, we share a lot more in the PayHit platform as well. And it's okay to shame yourself. I purposefully and also publicly do so. Today I do this week title, right? Should I have taken profits or whatever? It's okay to publicly shame ourselves and largely about soaking in this emotion of the loss and just go forward in the stock market. More immunity against the impatient, which is why I created impatient and greed, which is why I created bullish cash compounder. And then eventually I couldn't get my positioning very well. I was to experiment, and then I started to get certain capital get stuck in a certain way or what, and started to become fearful when the market downturn and became the best time that I have been praying for 2 years. This situation, I have a potential to create a multi-bagger. 1,000 times. I have the strategy. It is within this timing strategy. This has been what I've been praying for 2 years, and I probably missed it. Okay, so getting a groove and the ebbs and flow for the market, I think is very important. So in the future, I'll just myself, okay, cash flow in peacetime, bagger in wartime. Lastly, more objectively, back to this MacroMarket is that I go back to all-time high, and this fear and greed index, it may not be any signs of reversal. Even though, let's say on 12th of October 2024, it started to peak, right? It started to retrace downwards, but SPY continued to go up, even though we have reached October also, and we have continued to go up all the way to February. While many of you might be having the same hope as me, which is that market continue to go down a bit, at least retrace a little bit, so that we can get in with a certain FOMO that we want to get into the market. But because the market has went up too fast without us, in case you are feeling this way, start to find some ways to manage your emotion and psychology as much as possible. Hopefully, what I shared above, some of them that does inspire you with a certain idea to go forward in a more objective manner. And if not, you can continue to read through this report, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.